I drove away. It was the hardest time I'd ever driven away from anything, ever. Now, usually I'm big on having a big vision and hope for the future, but here, there was no hope. It was hopeless. She said that she had a hope, but I couldn't lie to myself like that. It had to be done. It was done. And that decision initiated the feelings and the emotions and the countless difficulties through what is commonly known as the process. And I want to talk about it. So, dim the lights, cue the music, and here we go. May 11, 8 days after the breakup. I no longer feel sad about losing her. I hadn't felt sad since yesterday morning at work. I was drinking knockoff Dr. Pepper, or Noctor Pepper, as I like to call it. 2 glasses of that, and I felt incredible. I even went home and I tried to grieve, and I tried to feel bad, and I tried to feel sad, but I just couldn't find that within me. It's like the whole relationship, I had dreamt it, and then I woke up and I wasn't feeling tired anymore. I was no longer spending unnecessary energy on pointless quarrels. It was freeing. I felt free. I rediscovered myself. I picked up my camera again. I read some books. I hung out with my friends a lot more. It was like I was becoming myself again. Nothing was going to bring me down. Life was great. Grief was brief. Until I started feeling something a little bit different. I couldn't believe what I started feeling. June 5. I saw her at church. Now, it is completely fair to say, you shouldn't have been going to her church. But this was an event that she never went to. It was young adults night. Furthermore, I'd been going since before I knew her. So after the breakup, when she showed up, crushing. I went home sadder than ever that night. I thought the initial shock of the breakup was bad, but this was a whole new experience. I couldn't even eat. That's how sad I was. I kept looking back at the verse, "Blessed are those who mourn." But are they really? I wasn't seeing it. I asked God to show me your goodness. Lord, would you show me your goodness? Because your goodness feels like the sham of the century. I'm not seeing it. Are you even real? Nights would look like me screaming and yelling and shouting and singing, getting all riled up at God. Are you there? Are you listening? Can't you see me? I would get tired of that. Exhausted. I'd have a calmness fall over me. I'd go to sleep. This is where I can say I've experienced the long, dark night. I've got a taste for what that's like. Wow. Those times with the Lord were my anchor. Even if I wasn't sure if they were real, they were my anchor. That and all the time I spent with Josh Radnor during the 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother, I couldn't stop watching. But also the Lord. He was my anchor too. June 29. The universe speaks to me. That's right. So I mentioned How I Met Your Mother. In that show, there's this concept of the universe. The universe speaks to people, but the goofy thing I've observed is it's really just what that person wants to hear. So with that being said, the universe told me to call her back, to get back together. I saw signs, I saw things happen that surely the universe wants this. Well, I started thinking about that, and I started dwelling on that, and I was replaying old conversations and disagreements in my head, and suddenly everything felt forgivable, and I thought, yeah, I should reach back out, and that will solve everything, and we'll both feel great, and God will use this. I believed that God was going to deliver me, either by bringing her back into my life, or by shutting down all feelings and taking away all the pain. Well, the pain went away, and it was out church on Sunday morning. They said, we're going to pray over the brokenhearted. I was like, all right, well, I've been feeling pretty brokenhearted, so I'll go up and People started praying for me. My friends, my family was surrounding me, laying hands on me, hugging me, worshiping with me, sitting with me, and it was a true encounter with the Lord. I began to see His beauty again and trust in His ways again, and all seemed well. I was at peace. Peace. July 2. Well, that didn't last as long as I was hoping. I felt like I was being kicked, even though I was already down. And I was wondering, what's happening? I thought I found this new hope, a new life, a new peace to live by. Where'd that go? I thought I was done with the hardest parts of this process. Not task list, not 5-step easy plan, no. Process. I started to feel sad and unwell, convincing myself that there was nothing in the world that was going to make me feel better. And even if there was, I didn't want it. During the day, my friends would all say, "Hey man, just choose joy. Hey man, God's got a plan for your life. Why don't you just trust that? Hey, man, the right person will come around." Then one person said something different. They said, "Stay sad." What? But it was unheard of to me. Why would I stay sad? Well, he explained, when you look grief in the eyes, when you stare that pain down, you'll eventually see Christ. So look so intensely, both, into your pain until you see the eyes of Christ. And when you see the eyes of Christ, lock eyes and don't look back. Stare just as intensely at Him until He's all you see. So I did. I let myself grieve again. My nights were violent almost. I went from literally singing, "Oh my God, I'm fresh out of so what do you want me to do?" to "It is well with my soul, and you're never gonna let me down." Within minutes. Those tears of bitterness turned to tears of joy. These are the most raw and real experiences I've ever had with anyone. It's these moments of grief with Christ. Yeah. I was good. But then, like all things, it started to fade away, happened less, and I was like, oh, you know what? I bet I could reach back out to her. Well, that actually was my sign that, no, I definitely haven't moved on yet. I thought I moved on so I could reach out and start something new, but no. It was my sign. I haven't gotten over that hump. I needed to move on. August 5, 3 months after we broke up. How was I supposed to move on? I had no idea how to move on, but I did know I didn't want to move on. I had come to the conclusion with a mentor that I should move on, that it's time to move on. I had to realize that this loss is a part of my story, but it's not the part I was living in. True surrender means walking away, leaving this at the feet of Jesus, and trusting it into His hands for my good and His glory. So this meant I had to embrace a belief I didn't yet understand, and that's simply that it was time for me to move on. I pray that the Lord would open up my hands, that He would teach me to let go, and as I loosened my grip, I realized this might be a rocky finish, an abrupt cutoff. Now I wish, as a storyteller, with every fiber in my being, that it would be a harmonious ending with a nice closure and a little bow to tie up the chapter. But that's exactly what it's not. Moving on is realizing, the time with grief is up. It's like a process to end the process. And as I choose that surrender, it allows me to open up my hands again. I wish I could say, that's it, but it certainly isn't. There's a song I like that describes this whole process as a perpetual progression of continuous growth. Sometimes I feel really sad that we're no longer together. There's sometimes that I try to just not feel sad, or I try to drown that sadness. There are times where I wonder, well, what would it have been like if we would have stayed together? And of course, times where I was like, I wish we never were. I wish I never knew her. Whatever it is, it's in the past, and I live in the present, where I'm learning to be content with what the Lord has given me, where He's placed me, as I continue to trust Him.